look at the standings, how things are lining up. Looks like Berserker, I don't think they can avoid relegation with this one, but for PSISTORM, yeah, they can. We're pretty close here to getting into the running, to getting into the playoffs. It looks like they're not quite going to make it, but I'm sure they would love to finish the season off with a win here.
Yeah, I mean, standings do matter because they will affect how much money you make at the end of the day. So they're going to be fighting mainly for prize money. Alas, they will not be making it into the playoffs. So a little bit of a shame. We were talking about it before, but alas, even though SC2 Gaming have a really solid lineup, it was a lineup that was formed a little bit late into the season. I want to say like week 6, week 7, week 8. They were finally able to incorporate Spirit. But before that, they kind of had MaxPax trying to do all the heavy lifting all on his own.
Yeah, so they did finally shore up that roster, and it's a really great pick that they've got here in Spirit. I mean, this has kind of felt like the year of Spirit. He has become a player who was always just kind of middle of the road in Europe, always fairly strong, but never really someone that you'd think of as a contender to be winning tournaments or anything like that. He's really stepped it up in this last year.
He really has. He really has. Like, he has been really improving so much over time. I would argue, top 2 Terran in Europe. I think we can all settle on top 3, but, maybe top 2. Spirit has been doing so well for himself. Alas, can he do well here tonight? As we have quite a stacked lineup. We're going to be kicking things off with DIMAGA versus Namshar, into Spatz versus MaxPax, and we will end things off with Mixu versus Spirit. Do you think that PSISTORM are going to be coming in as heavy favorites? But Berserker, they have a solid lineup. They are fielding their ace players this week.
Yeah, they do. And I mean, we've seen some really fantastic games from this team. DIMAGA especially, I feel like, has been a bit of a fan favorite. He's always so much fun to watch play. And also Mixu picking up, I believe, his first win in the league last week.
Yeah, Mixu, he's had his own moments. Spatz has had his own moments as the ace player for his team. And yeah, it does feel like DIMAGA has been the star of WTL. Not even just like Berserker Esports, but he's just had a lot of really solid moments, going up against these big names. His series against Maru, his series against some of these other Protoss players like Creator as well. DIMAGA, he's been doing really well for himself.
Yeah, I feel like there's just something about the way that he plays that just has a lot of heart. Like, you really feel a lot of personality through his play.
Mm-hmm. You really do, and I look forward to it. Alas, when it comes to that personality, we're mainly talking about like his versus Terran and versus Protoss. This ZVZ that's coming up is going to be a little bit different. This is going to be an interesting one because Namshar is coming out of left field. I know he's not the most active player. He does play in whatever spare time he has. But I think he's been surprising us recently, despite his inactivity. Like Namshar, he's no slouch.
Yeah, Namshar's been pretty cheesy the last couple times I've seen him play. So I'm expecting more of the same in ZVZ, but looks like that's not what we're going to be starting things off with. We're instead going to be seeing MaxPax coming up against Spatz, so very high tier PvP here.
Interesting. So hopefully we can get DIMAGA versus Namshar later on. That does mean that one of those players is unavailable at the moment, so they're going to be pushing that series back a little bit and hopefully giving that player some time to show up. Who is it? We don't really know, but our focus is going to be on this PvP instead.
Yeah, I do know. I remember DIMAGA was having a little bit of internet troubles here and there, so could be just waiting for his internet to fix up a little bit.
Yeah, that does happen from time to time in these online tournaments. Sometimes DIMAGA has to just restart their modem or just straight up does have no internet for a period of time. So hopefully we're able to get some of his matches. Hopefully that won't stop that series from being played out, as we do have this PvP. And on the one hand, we like to talk about how PvP can sometimes be a little bit more versatile. It can be a little bit more up in the air, like unpredictable. But MaxPax, he is so solid in this matchup, especially against players that are perceived to be worse than him.
Right, yeah. MaxPax's PvP looks just insane. Like, yeah. I remember Roddy kind of talking about it, about just in general as well, about good players playing gate expand openings where you feel really powerless, where it's just like if you also go for your own gate expand, you're playing into a very straightforward macro game against a better player, and if you don't, they're so good at holding it. But he's up against the wall here. Big challenge ahead of him. This is for Berserker Esports, Spatz.
And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner for PSISTORM Gaming, going for that gate expand, it is MaxPax. And you are 100% right. It's like I always feel for MaxPax's opponents when they go up against him on Gressfun or Royal Blood or some of these maps that don't, or even Ancient Cistern, some of these maps that don't have a ramp coming into the natural. And MaxPax he just throws down his opener with a gate expand. It's like, well, do you just play from behind? Like, or do you try to punish it? Because MaxPax, he is so good at defending.
It's such a weird thing where it's like, you have to be so confident in this position as the weaker player because you know that he wants you to do it. So it takes a lot of confidence to just do it anyway.
Exactly, and we are, here we go. Spatz does have a probe out on the map that is poised for a proxy robo. That is a very common proxy location. And he is focusing on that probe. Is he going to throw down that pylon? It looks like he will. Looks like he may be going for that.
All right, so we are getting the dirty business underway. We are going to be proxying, but MaxPax, he knows his reputation as well, and he knows how he can lose this game. Maybe he just wants to show off the sponsors.
Oh, speaking of, here we go. Shout out to Doyu, Hypergriff, TGI Fridays, Tidal, and Rio de Janeiro. Without those lovely sponsors, without those lovely countries, WTL would not be a thing.
Yeah, shout out to the sponsors there. As for a bit. We do, in fact, have that proxy robot going on it down, but MaxPax immediately scouts it. He knows exactly what's going on. He had the star sense. He knew what was happening.
That's the thing, right? Like that location behind those rocks and even further back in the middle of those steam vents, that is such a common proxy location. So MaxPax, he goes to the scout, he confirms it, he knows exactly what's happening. He has a defensive robo on the way for his own defensive immortals. So far, MaxPax is doing everything correctly, and Spatz is aware of that. Thankfully, he also scouts how quickly MaxPax reacts with that robo.
Yeah, that's right. And we're going to be kicking things off with some Adepts, so this could get quite interesting. I do feel like Adepts have a strange place in all-ins versus two-base players where as much as the damage is nice, it's still damage that has to snowball. It doesn't get you ahead just on its own, it just makes the defense harder for the defending player.
Yeah, exactly. And it looks like Spatz is going to double down on that. He is going for a Warp Prism. So with this, he can warp in Adepts or drop Adepts straight into that main base. But the Stalkers have already arrived. They're going to be threatening that, or at least trying to figure out what units are coming out. They do get eyes on at least additional Adepts on the way. And Spatz, he is going for that drop.
Yeah, MaxPax. I would not be surprised if he just knew all these timings extremely well. The way that he backed off there, I think that's exactly when an Immortal would have come out. So, it's really, really impressive to see him play. I feel like he's just so solid in every aspect, and he's all over this. I mean, these Stalkers have just been following the action from the get-go.
Yeah, exactly. And just like that, the drop is denied into the main base. We do have a probe getting ready to wall off here at the natural as well, but can we wall off in time? It looks like we can. Oh my god.
Yeah, this is just masterful stuff from MaxPax. Really impressive.
Yeah, we do commit to the shade. We do trigger the shields on that Immortal, so it is going to be a little bit softened up here for the push. Here we go. The Immortal has arrived for Spatz. He has Sentries for force fields as well. He's going for the push.
Yeah, there we go. We have a lot of potential. This battery is very exposed, and there's only one, so this is kind of interesting. MaxPax looks like he might be in a bit of trouble.
Yeah, the shield battery does go down. Overcharge did put in a lot of work, but the Immortal is going to fall. A second Immortal shows up just in time, and so far, MaxPax, he does hold on. The shield battery finishes up just in time.
Yeah, just barely in time this battery finishes up, but the Prism's going to be able to elevate some units up to meet up with the Shade. We do have a battery already prepared in the middle, in the main, sorry, and another one there. Man, this is so close. This is feeling really on a nice edge.
It really is. So far, the juggling is good, but then the Prism goes down with the Immortal inside, and just like that, that was the backbone of the army here for Spatz.
I really feel like he could have won it if that didn't happen. That's brutal.
The boys are being pulled. This is still very close. Exactly. Like, if he still had that Immortal alive, if he still had that Prism, maybe he could pull this off. Maybe he still can, by the way, as he is going to be reinforcing his Immortal on the low ground.
Yeah, I think he could do it. I mean, we've got these two batteries here. Man, that is so brutal. I think he would have absolutely had this.
Yeah, so unfortunate. Overcharge kicks in. the reinforcing immortal goes down, it looks like Spatz is running out of steam. He still has sentries, he can try and force field the ramp, but we have a prism to bypass the force fields anyway, and yeah, Spatz is holding.
Yeah, we're going to be pulling everything back down to the low ground. One of those adepts does get taken out. MaxPax, as you were saying, is holding strong. And man, what a heartbreaker for Spatz. That is brutal.
Yeah, that was so close, as we saw. And I mean, he still has a lot of potential here with these force fields, but again, just because we have this prison, that means we can avoid things like this. We can avoid the army being caught out here with the drop play. We actually juggle forward as well. That's how confident MaxPax is.
Yeah, just perfect stuff from MaxPax. I feel like he is just such a master of decision making. It seems like even in the most dire of situations, he has things under control.
Exactly, and now this position is looking almost impenetrable. We have four shield batteries here. We're about to have a 5th shield battery at the natural base. We have 2 pylons as well to keep everything powered, and we have that prison to just micro everything and make sure nothing goes down. As I say that, MaxPax, he just saves every single unit. Oh my god.
Yeah, an absolute storm of juggling of force fields as well. Both players microing their hearts out. Spatz is doing a wonderful job here. He is really trying to do everything that he can to make this work.
Yeah, and you know what? He's going to get at least a cyber core, so we're going to deny any additional adepts or even sentries being morphed in. We're going to try and shade on past. No, actually, we're going to try and dive on top of this army. He does dive on forward. He's going to try and focus down these immortals, but again, they get saved, and we do force the overcharge.
Yeah, the overcharge is finally here. Fantastic force fields on both sides. MaxPax a little bit trapped, a little bit claustrophobic here, but he is burning down the energy on those sentries. We have one last attempt at the shade, but I mean, there's so many batteries here.
Yeah, exactly. Nothing is dying, especially with that insane micro as well. The gateway did fall, and that could be impacting the overall production here of MaxPax. I don't know if he's been able to throw any additional gateways down. The wall is no longer a wall, so the adepts are going to be able to shade into the main. He's trying to commit.
Yeah, we have that elevator being set up once again, but there's stalkers in the main waiting already to push back that prism, and they're going to make this whole operation that much more difficult for Spatz. We still have those 2 shield batteries. The Immortals putting in some insane work, and the juggles from MaxPax. My goodness, beautiful stuff, but actually really close from Spatz.
That was really close. GG, well played. MaxPax does take game number 1, but Spatz definitely had his moments. MaxPax, it did feel like he was shown to bleed for a moment there, but the target firing, the control, Spatz losing his initial prism. From that moment, it did feel like he lost a lot of momentum. Despite that, still very close though. Still very close.
Yeah, I really think he would have won if he didn't lose that immortal inside the prism.
Yeah, unfortunately, just a little bit too cavalier with that prism. And with that, we're going to be diving straight into, oh my god, straight into game number 2 of spawning in the top right hand corner for Berserker Esports. It is Spatz.
And spawning here in the bottom left hand corner of the map, it is the Danish Prince, Mr. MaxPax.
A theory.
Okay.
I say a theory, I'm kind of calling them out a little bit. Usually Spatz has a camera. He has no camera, and we very quickly dove into game number 2. I think these matches were this series specifically was played ahead of time. That's typically how that goes. Oh god. So yeah, we'll see who can take this in the end. Unfortunately, no live reactions. Outside of MaxPax, of course, we do get his live reaction as always.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would have. I mean, it wouldn't have been nice to see how Spatz reacted to that prism getting sniped, but it would have been interesting.
It would have been entertaining. But we'll see how we do open up. Once again, we're on Royal Blood, and this is another map that is very common for gate expands. For MaxPax specifically, I mean, he does it every map, to be fair. Every single map, regardless of what it is. And Spatz has to make a decision. He has a probe out on the map. It's looking like another proxy.
Yeah, but I mean, MaxPax predicted the proxies so well last time. I feel like Spatz kind of had this cheeky win there, but I like this position. I think this is pretty well tucked away. I could definitely see a world where Probe kind of explores the bottom side of this map, but doesn't quite touch the edges the whole way.
Yeah, we'll see if MaxPax can come across this. This proxy location is a little bit more obscure, a little bit more out of the norm, as it is going to be a proxy robo once again from Spatz. Once again, opening up with double adept as well. Very similar to game one.
Yeah, pretty much just doing the same thing again. And there was no second pylon in the main, so I feel like MaxPax is definitely going to know something's proxied. Just a matter of where.
Yeah, he's currently scouting the the left-hand side of the map. He's going to be coming across the common Stargate proxy location. Alas, he would not be coming across anything yet. He is looking for it, and looking at his rally as well, he may come across that robo, as he's going to be opening up with a Stargate, which unfortunately won't be as impactful as like the Immortal production we saw earlier, but he can still make Void Rays, and they can still muster up a defense.
Yeah, I feel like we've seen quite a few times MaxPax defending 4-gate Blink with Void Rays, and it's beautiful. It's really lovely to watch. He's so skilled with it.
He really is. Like, you have to be so delicate with your Void Ray control, with how you move forward and back, how you play with the overcharge and the shield batteries. But here we go. The Adepts are continuing to threaten those shades. Void Ray is in production. MaxPax, he's aware that he's, in a little bit of trouble. He's aware that he's taking the role of the defender, even sets up a shield battery in the main base prematurely.
Yeah, really good foresight. We have seen quite a lot of games where that has come into play, and for MaxPax, I feel like all of these responses are just automatic at this point. He's done this so many times. He's such an expert in this exact sort of defense.
He really is, but the Prism does manage to slip a couple of Adepts in. They're going to be getting damage done, by the way. 1, 2 probes already do go down. This will be cleaned up, but they're not going down for free.
Yeah, we were talking about this a little bit before, that more damage that Spatz can get with these Adepts, the more that he can start to get things snowballing, and that's exactly what he's looking to do.
It does a little bit of hull damage to that shield battery. We have 4 gateways finishing up across the map, so it's going to be a 4-gate all-in from Spatz, focusing a lot more on Stalker production this time, less so on those sentries and less so on those Immortals. So, yeah, going to be a different variation here of the 1-base all-in.
Yeah, that's exactly right, but MaxPax already with a few extra batteries, he has those Void Rays out, and he is just almost perfect, almost AI-like when it comes to just making sure that those Void Rays get the maximum time firing that they can.
Yeah, you're not wrong, but we have been able to preserve these Stalkers for the time being. Hot pickup as well, keeping these Stalkers alive, and we're looking to try to build up this count to try and force our way through, try to out-DPS the healing potential of these shield batteries.
Yeah, but there we go. The Void Rays, they do commit that little overcharge there. And we have the third one coming out now. And this is where things start to get really scary. This is where, as the attacking Protoss, you would have loved to maybe take out one of these or at least get a good amount of hull damage. And my goodness, look at the Void Ray micro. It's amazing. It's so cool to watch.
He does pull them back just barely in time, keeping them alive. One of them does activate his prismatic alignment, and Stalkers are going down.
Yeah, the precision of the micro of MaxPax is just stunning to watch.
Yeah, it's not something you see too often here, and it's really important that he was able to kill a couple of those Stalkers just because it just stops the snowball. If the Stalkers hit critical mass, they can 2-shot or even 3-shot these Void Rays, but we're not really getting there as the Stalkers are going down. GG gets called, and MaxPax takes the 2-0.
Yeah, brilliant hold. Never looked like he was in trouble, and 2-0 for MaxPax in the PvP.
GG, and I feel like game 2 was more of what we expected out of this PvP. Yeah. But I feel like game 2, if you only tune into that, doesn't really tell the story about game 1. Game 1 was far closer, and there's definitely a world out there where Spatz may have even tied up the series 1-1. So not a bad performance out of Spatz.
Yeah, I completely agree, and I do think that Spatz definitely had the potential to get the win in that first game. Just some slightly unfortunate timing there, but we do have potentially some closer matches. I'm once again really excited to see DIMAGA versus Namshar.
I am as well, and I hope there we go. Here we go. The players have arrived. They are available, and it is going to be DIMAGA versus Namshar coming up next.
There we go. What a friendly looking fella over there. DIMAGA is getting a 60 as well. I feel like, I'm not sure if that's gone up, but they definitely respect his skills.
100%. Like, he's definitely up there, C/B tier player. We've definitely become fans over the course of this year, whether we're casting him in WTL or OC King of the Hill or Sparkling Tuna Cup as well. DIMAGA is actually a really active player in these online tournaments as well.
Yeah, he has been playing quite a lot lately, and it's been a pleasure to watch him. And someone else that has been playing a little bit more lately is Namshar. It's been surprising to see him come back.
Yeah, Namshar, he's a very old school player, and there have been eras of StarCraft where he's been more active. This year, less so. Even in years past, like 2020, 2021, he actually did commit quite a bit to competing again. So it's great to see him return. He's not full-time like some of these other players, but, you know, the saying, it's really difficult to kind of, God, what is it? What's the MMA saying? What's the line, Bobby? What's the line?
I was gonna say you can take the StarCraft out of the boy, but you can't take the boy out of the StarCraft.
Yeah, we are all up in that, boy. Yeah, it is a skill is temporary, class is permanent. There it is. There it is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Namshar, you know, it's kind of like riding a bike, and I do think that he is still going to pose a threat here to his opponents. The WTO admin's actually giving him a lot of respect here, also giving him a 60 in score.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely giving him a bit of a nod to maybe the level that he used to be at, and we're not really sure that he necessarily has dropped off. I mean,
Hmm.
we sometimes see players take 2-3 years off and just come back at roughly the same level, especially at around this level. But here we go. We're going to be kicking things off here in the bottom left-hand corner of Ancient Cistern. It is DIMAGA for Berserker Esports.
And spawning in the top right-hand corner for PSISTORM Gaming, it is Namshar. So its form is temporary, class is permanent. That's it. That's it. Oh. You would have liked him, MMA. You would have liked him. He was a Terran player. It was nice. He took off his shoes.
Huh. Beautiful. Very respectful.
Exactly. As we are diving into this, into our first game of this best of two. And yeah, as much as we really appreciate a lot of what DIMAGA has to offer in a lot of these other matchups, especially in the mid game, especially against Protoss and Terran, here in ZVZ, that's kind of thrown out the window.
Wait, that hair's growing back. I feel lied to.
Whose hair?
DIMAGA.
Yeah. He's young.
He's got some fuzz.
He does. He's been growing it out. Looks good.
It does, yeah.
Like.
Alright, so no shenanigans, no 12 pulls to kick things off, no pull first or anything like that. Looks like a lot of respect out from the two players, just going to feel each other out in this first game.
Yeah, and it's important you point that out. You were talking about how Namshar has been a little bit more aggressive recently, and he has been, you know, popping up in a couple of these matchups. I think most recently he was in the the Basilisk Big Brain Brawl.
Oh, yeah.
BBB.
I'm almost certain the last time I saw him, he was 13-12ing someone.
Fair enough. He played against Jimmy in a PVZ, and I think he went 2-3. Did go all the way to the ace match. So again, a very impressive feat from Namshar. There we go. Link speed is on the way, and we're very happy about that.
Yeah, Jimmy's a really solid player. Yeah, the link speed wiggles for joy. All the children rejoice.
It's beautiful, Papi. It's beautiful. We all get to dip into the pool. Hatchcast pool opener here. So far, mirrored builds. Third bases should be on the way from both of our players as well. And DIMAGA is going to be a little bit faster there. And Namshar not too far behind.
Yeah, both players going to be pretty much mirrored in what they do with their lings as well. Some pretty cute micro coming out from DIMAGA. It feels like this is the first chance for the two players to just kind of test each other a little bit.
Yeah, this is their first meeting here, and with that, they're going to be able to. Oh,
you see that? DIMAGA like shuffled the low health ling behind.
Yeah, it's DIMAGA, Pop. He's cracked.
So tidy.
Beautiful. No one is skipping out on their banelings either. Baneling Nest is thrown down for both players, as to be expected. With this, we'll keep an eye on the production tab to see if any one of these two players tries to deny the third of the other, or if we just drone up from here and head towards the mid game, head towards Roach production. That's kind of what we're really going to be keeping our eye out for.
Yes, we do have the two players that are just kind of poking, testing each other's defenses, just seeing how the reaction speed is, seeing how the units are placed, things like that. And nothing too crazy going on just yet. Namshar is going to be going for a few safety bailings just to be sure, as is DIMAGA. They're pretty much perfectly mirrored to this point.
Yeah, this is basically the standard or the quote-unquote correct way to play ZVZ, as some would say. No early game aggression whatsoever, but now the builds are diverging a little bit. Namshar is going for +1 carapace, his opponent DIMAGA going for +1 range. Very interesting choice here from Namshar.
Okay, yeah, the carapace from Namshar kind of makes me feel like we might be seeing that carapace Ling Roach all in that was very popular in the last few months.
Yeah, it kind of rose in prominence around the start of the year. Since then, though, in recent months, we haven't seen it too often, anywhere near as often as it used to be. But yeah, this does seem to be the case here for Namshar. If it is, he should be cutting workers soon, making nothing but roaches. The reasoning for carapace, of course, is to make sure that we nullify the banelings of our opponents, and we make Ling reinforcements that much stronger for the attacking Zerg.
Yeah, I feel like as soon as I started being able to recognize this build is when people stopped doing it.
Yeah. It was very trendy for a while, but there we go. Roach is already on the way for Namshar. Again, there's no lair, there's no additional droning. He is going to be going for a big all-in, and it's going to be on DIMAGA to make sure he doesn't over-drone, because he's still focusing on his economy. As a result, he doesn't have the largest army.
Yeah, that's right. And we do have, okay, Overlord Speed coming out from DIMAGA as well. I'm a little bit worried he might be slightly misreading the situation here.
He throws down a 4th base as well. He is droned up to 69. Nice. Very, very high drone count. A very respectable drone count number, of course, but he is lacking in the army. Namshar is pushing out across the map with everything he has. He even has Banelings being morphed into the main base, and DIMAGA, I don't think he was quite ready for this.
Yeah, you might have been able to see the drone count's a little bit low there with that scout. We are going to be having a big split coming on out. The Roaches are beginning to attack. Oh, Bailey's getting wasted on at the Roaches, but the Lings have arrived. As you were saying, that +1 carapace means they do not get one-shot by the Banes anymore. And Namshar is just rolling over the defenses of DIMAGA.
Yeah, DIMAGA didn't see this coming ahead of time. He was just a little bit too greedy. GG gets called, and Namshar takes game number 1.
Geez, solid first game. Very confident execution, and yeah, feels like DIMAGA just didn't quite catch on to what was happening though.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he was droning. He was completely saturating his 3rd base. He was working on a 4th. He was working on, as you were saying, Overlord speed and upgrades as well. Like, he was working towards a later game. He was working towards the mid game. Didn't realize that his opponent was going for a big all-in. And sometimes that's just how ZVZs go. Oh, GG.
Yeah, feel CVZ, man. Namshar definitely doing a good job of remaining active, trying to keep DIMAGA a bit too busy to catch on to what was happening. And yeah, I think coming into game 2, I wonder if we're going to be seeing some nasty cheese coming out from Namshar now.
Yeah, it's definitely possible. I mean, he has a really good start, especially because I do think that this DIMAGA versus Namshar matchup could have been a really good moment for Berserker to really establish themselves and fight back and even tie up the series. But now things are looking a little bit dire for Berserker Esports, as DIMAGA has chosen this map.
Okay, DIMAGA picks up altitude, so maybe he's also a little bit worried about a 12 below 13-12 coming out from Namshar. So he's going to be picking this very big map with a very long rush distance and give himself a bit more room to work.
This map pick makes it like look like DIMAGA wants to drone. He's like, man, I just want to drone. I just want my bases. I just want to make some roaches as well. Of course, altitude can also lead to other things like faster lairs, like spire play as well. But DIMAGA clearly just wants his opponent to just give him some room and to back off.
Or he wants to 12 pull himself.
It's true. It's true.
As here he is spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of the map. It is DIMAGA for Berserker Esports.
And spawning in the top right-hand corner of altitude for PSISTORM Gaming, the Swedish Zerg, Namshar.
Alrighty, so kicking things off on altitude. It's kind of been feeling like this in Melbourne. I know it doesn't actually snow, but I'm soft. I'm not used to it being cold. It's been so cold, puppy.
Do you say these things on purpose? Like what?
What do you mean?
Nothing. Don't worry about it.
What did I say? Oh no.
You're just egging me on. You're
It wasn't on
challenging me,
purpose.
Papi.
I feel like there's nothing that won't set you off.
Ay, ay, ay. How could I not? Oh god, but yeah, it's been really cold here as well. Actually, I've actually spoken about this a lot, but like maybe the past week, maybe the past 2 weeks, it's been abnormally cold here in Australia. I don't like it, Papi. I don't like it.
Did you get a custard pie?
I did.
Oh, you did?
Yeah,
Eat
yeah.
it. It's CBC. Nothing's gonna happen. Eat it.
I took a bite during the break. I did take a bite of it, and it's really creamy.
I feel like that was a mistake though, taking a bite, because it kind of like the package of the pie, like the casing, kind of keeps it warm.
And you're like, the seal has been broken, right? Like the freshness seal that you're talking about, and now like the umami is just oozing out into the world, and it's not being encapsulated into that pie.
Painting a picture there. I'm getting very hungry.
Yeah, it was good. It was like I took one bite, but that one bite it set me off, Papi. We had a bit of a food wars moment.
Beautiful. The clothes came off instantly.
It was never on, Papi. It was never on.
As we do have pretty much the exact same game so far. Both players can be running across a map with a couple lings, checking on each other's thirds. Namshar hasn't thrown down a third just yet.
Yeah, once again, just a little bit delayed here from Namshar, but outside of that, nothing too crazy. Hatch gas pools all around here from our players, and yeah, once again, standard openers. Really, we're just looking for those deviations. As we saw in the last game, we had Namshar go for faster carapace. That's typically something you only do once in a series, though. It is typically ill-advised to do that 2 games in a row, as your opponent is going to be more on notice.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. As obviously things are super standard coming out from both players. DIMAGA, these lings look a little bit angry. They want some revenge, but they're not going to be getting any no first blood just yet.
Yeah, so far, both players just bouncing off each other. Evo Chambers on the way. Bailing Nest as well, so no one is cutting too many or any corners whatsoever. DIMAGA is able to slip his Ling into the natural base, though. Was able to outposition his opponent. And is able to get a full scout.
I find it so funny watching 2 lings chase each other, because they're like running away on off creep, and then it's like, he's gonna catch up to me, he's gonna catch up to me, and they're like, oh shit, when they get onto the creep. It looks so expressive to me.
Oh god, yeah, the life of the ling, Papi. It's intense, Papi. It's intense.
Get me out of this.
Yeah, so far a pretty good moment here from DIMAGA, able to get a full scout of once again. Ooh. Just confirming no additional gases are taken or anything like that. At the same time, we do see a bit of Ling Bane across the map from Namshar.
Namshar is flexing right now. But DIMAGA is going to be able to split some lings onto these Banelings, get some very efficient trading here. Beautiful stuff. The Ling Bane micro absolutely there for DIMAGA.
Yeah, he completely shuts it down. Meanwhile, once again, no lair, no upgrades. This time, this isn't going to be a time with +1 carapace. This is just going to straight up be a Roach Ling push here from Namshar. Cutting workers very early on at 38. Oof.
Yeah, I have been told that this is something you can do in CBZ. You can just throw a few dice into the air, see what they land on, see which numbers you like, which ones feel good, and then just pick a drone number. See which one feels nice, and then just all in off that drone number.
Yeah, and that's kind of what's coming out here from Namshar. We do have a better defense there. The Ling Bane does roll on forward, but we got a lot of roaches coming in to reinforce.
Oh, that is a lot of roaches. And meanwhile, what's coming out from DIMAGA? We do have a spine, 2 spines being finished up. So he is taking this very seriously. He's being so careful to try to preserve his lings as well, which I think is very important. But Namshar making some banelings of his own. And that's where things can get really scary, as he does set up between the bases here.
Yeah, but there's a spine crawler at the third and at the natural as well, so DIMAGA should be ready for this, bearing in mind that Namshar did drone up behind this. He's actually now exceeding the work count of his opponent, so he's not fully all in.
Yeah, big snipe goes down on the spine crawler. DIMAGA really struggling to hold on here, but he remains stoic, he remains strong. He is going to be producing a few extra roaches, but as you were saying, Namshar droning up behind this, getting up towards almost that 60 drone count, and I feel like with this many gases, Mutas may be on the mind.
Yeah, that wouldn't be a bad choice, especially with the delayed Spire. Sorry, with the delayed Lair. Bearing in mind that DIMAGA is going to be ahead. Now that he's defended, he had more workers for longer. He already has +1 range. He already has roach speed on the way, +2 range on the way as well. So we have a very strong timing coming out from DIMAGA.
Yeah, Namshar going to be poking him with these lings, doesn't really get too much damage, just kind of keeping DIMAGA busy, keeping him on his toes as we do see that layer is starting to finish up here, and we are banking a little bit of gas here too.
Yeah, we are banking that up. We do see a couple more roaches in production here from Namshar. We got a 4th base on the way. Overlord speed as well, and there we go. Roach speed has commenced. So it looks like, for the time being anyway, Namshar is not going for the Mutas.
Is the Overlord speed just for scouting, or do you see drops? Are you gonna see drops?
I would like to see drops. Drops are actually like underrated. Like they're pretty good in ZVZ. I think we've spoken about this.
Yeah, because I don't think I see Serral use the Overlord drops that much in ZVZ, but they have kind of been a flavor of the month thing where in some of the other matchups we've been seeing Overlord drops used in some fairly creative ways. I know Serral's sometimes been doing like 5 or 6 Overlord Doom drops into mains of Terrans and things like that. So, yeah, I feel like Zerg has a lot of interesting tools that can spice things up, and they can backfire as well, but it's nice to see some weird stuff like that thrown in.
100%, whether it's Overlord drops, whether it's Burrowed, Tunneling Claw, Roaches as well. Meanwhile, here we go, DIMAGA, he's hitting with +2. Actually, a bit of an anti-timing. +2 is still not quite done here for DIMAGA.
Yeah, and Namshar just unflinching as DIMAGA tries to dance around these roaches, try to get some damage, and I don't think it's really working out for him.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like he's barely breaking through, but we have reinforcements on the way for Namshar as well. And with these biles, it looks like Namshar is going to be able to maybe barely force back his opponent.
The bile dodges from DIMAGA, they are so clean, but there's just not the numbers that he needs here right now. Namshar going to be pushing him back. The supply is going heavily in Namshar's favor. We can see just how good the trades were there.
Yeah, by the way, as the army was pushed back, +2 finished. I could be mistaken, but +2 was hanging there for a bit. I think it got contaminated. I want to believe that. Yeah, I think DIMAGA wanted to hit a timing with +2, but it took longer than it really should have to finish. So I would love to see the replay if that were the case. But as a result, DIMAGA, he missed his opportunity.
Yeah, that would be really cool if basically he had this timing worked out and he knew that that was roughly when +2 finished up, and he just didn't check to see if it was blocked, because why would you?
Yeah, exactly. And as a result, Namshar is able to hold on. Any kind of advantage that DIMAGA once had is now gone at this point, and Namshar, he's just shutting this down.
Wow, Namshar has been absolutely dominant in this CBZ. He's just crashing through. GG is called, and he gets the 2-0.
Wow, GG, very well played there. Namshar putting in the 2-0 for himself, for his team, and with that, PSISTORM Gaming will be winning this Team League match.
Yeah, PSISTORM Gaming, they got the points in the bag, but finally we are going to be finishing things off with a TBZ. Is this the second Terran for the night? We had XY as well.
Yeah,
I feel like I haven't seen much Terran tonight.
Yeah, I mean, XY's matches were at times a little bit shorter, so I understand you haven't been satiated yet, and it's okay. It's okay. I'll let you have some of my pie. As we are getting into our final best of 2. For those wondering, for those that are maybe tuning into the WTL for the first time, it's a best of 7, and of course, first to 4 do win. But even if it's a 6-0, for example, or even if it's a 4-0 to kick things off, we will still play out that last matchup.
Yeah, so we play out the rest of it, both for points and map score, but also at the end of this competition, at the end of the regular season, we do have some special awards as well that go out to the players, and I think every match does count towards that sort of thing, whether it be MVP or best for each race or anything like that.
Best celebration.
Oh yeah, we really haven't seen that many celebrations this time around.
Yeah, and we're not going to see one from Spirit, I can tell you that much. But whenever we do get them, they have been very memorable. Hey, we had Mixins pop off earlier, if you remember, dabbing all over the camera.
True.
We had young Zest as well, looking really excited after he won.
Mhm. Oh, of course, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like we've had a couple cool celebrations, but not quite as much as we've had in previous years.
It's true. It's true. Unfortunately. Hopefully, we do manage to have something special for the playoffs as well. I'm sure some of the players will be a little bit more prepared for that, as we have one last best of two here to finish off the night. It's going to be that ZBT Mixu versus Spirit. Again, Spirit coming in as the clear favorite, but as you were saying earlier, Mixu has been able to get some good results. He has been able to. He did win his first series or first game last week.
Yeah. Okay, I can't remember who that was against. I definitely need to look that up. It was
I was against Platinum Heroes.
Oh, it wasn't last week. Yeah, that's right. That was when he got the 2-0 over DNS. I forgot about that. That was so impressive.
Yeah, he popped off, mate. He had we had a best of 3 basically between Mixu and DNS, and he was able to bring him down, which was very impressive. And we'll see if he can cause another upset, as here he is rocking up with, a decent stats line. Of course, he hasn't had the best season, but more recently, towards the tail end of the season, he has been getting some good results.
Yeah, meanwhile, Spirit here coming in looking strong, and he has been very strong, especially in this competition.
Exactly. A lot of 9s, a lot of 8s. B tier player, apparently. I would say that he probably qualifies for an A tier, but I guess a high B is maybe acceptable as well. Of course, still looking to prove himself here. Unfortunately, he won't be able to really show off any further in the playoffs.
Yeah, unfortunate that some of these teams, their fate has already been decided. So PSISTORM not quite going to be able to make it in, but yeah, we're going to be kicking things off here, starting things off on Dragon Scales. Spirit lately, he's been pretty interesting to watch in TVZ just because he's been playing extremely standard. Actually, I haven't seen him go CC first in a while.
Yeah, I feel like he's been known for his greedy play, especially in the a couple of months ago, right at the start of the year. But recently, he's been mellowing out a little bit, which is interesting. It's a bit of a shame because that was very stylistic of him, but it also makes sense because it's like, you know what, maybe he should play standard a couple of times because he's just that damn good, and he doesn't have to risk things all the time by being hyper greedy in the early game.
Yeah, I feel like it was fun to watch, but I guess as well, it might have been a bit more map specific to the previous pool. I do feel like, especially on this map pool, Terrans have found that there's a few less options compared to last season, and the standard defensive play does tend to be a little bit better here.
Yeah, what I was thinking of, especially once the season wraps up, I hope they have another 2v2 tournament. If you remember, we did have a WTL 2v2 tournament at the start of the year, just to kind of break up the seasons. And it would be really cool to see that again. And that would give another chance for players like Spirit and MaxPax and even players from Berserker Esports or Invictus Gaming to feature themselves again and have a good time.
Yeah, I remember the Cyril Oliveira combo was so cool. That was so much fun.
It was so Cyril. That was it almost feels like that was the moment when Cyril he smiled on camera for the first time.
Definitely the first time Mario smiled on camera.
yeah. We saw a lot of players that otherwise are known for being very stoic and not really having too much emotion, just have some fun and interact with their teammates and really enjoy themselves. That definitely has been a bit of a highlight of the year so far, having the 2v2 tournament. So hopefully we get it once again.
I remember one of the games where Solo was BMing and you could just see Mario in the camera just laughing. It was so good.
Oh my god. I remember likewise, there was a similar moment with Dark and Hero because they were teammates, and you could see them talking to each other. You could see them laughing as well while playing games, and yeah, it's little moments like that I live for. It's really cool to see that personality flourish a little bit more for the players.
Yeah, for sure. As it looks like a little bit of a delay starting this one off, but it's going to be an interesting one. I feel like Mixu, he does play a very standard style. I have seen him lean into roaches a little bit more often, but once again, that has been something that's been in the meta, especially with these maps having such wide open thirds.
Yeah, it is something that we've seen pop up more frequently, it feels, this year compared to some of the other maps and some of the other metas that we've had. I don't know how willing Mixu is willing to play into that on a map like Dragon Scales. I could definitely see that occurring, especially if he wants to be the one to like have the momentum in this series. But I don't know if he's that kind of player. Yeah, but we have seen Mixu kind of break out of his shell recently. He has been able to, just show off a little bit more.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I think on Dragon Scales, pretty likely we'll see a roach attack. That has been something that's really common. I said it would be common too, and people were like, no one plays on one roach. It's not good.
Then Dark, he led the way. He showed everyone, Pop. He showed the way of the roach. Not like
Always
this.
been good. Zergs are just coping. They're like, yeah, it's good, but there's better. It's all good. Do anything.
Kappa, Poppy, Kappa. But yeah, so it looks like the players are just setting up their lobby, just making sure that everything's okay, making sure that there are no latency issues. That could also be a problem. But hopefully we're able to get underway soon. I guess the other important thing to take note of is that this is also the last time we're casting these teams. This is the last week of the round robin stage, and yeah, we won't be able to get to see these players in the playoffs, which is a bit of a shame. So we have to cherish these moments while we can.
Sure. I wasn't expecting that.
What did you think I was going with it? What do you mean?
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, for the most part, things have been decided. We still have a bit of an interesting playoff for the sort of seeding between Starving Camel, Shopify, and Platinum. I think. Yeah, okay. No, I was trying to work out if it works out really weird because a lot of these teams have similar scores, but you get different points depending on whether you go to an ace match or not.
Yeah, exactly. So the standings, I mean, we're going to be able to get into that a little bit later on. Now, spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Dragon Scales for Berserker Esports, it is Mixu.
And in the top left-hand corner of the map, it is the Polish Terran for PSISTORM. This is Spirit.
Oh, here we go. For the first time, we get to see, well, for the first time and the last time, we get to see that kitchen again. Clean kitchen of Mixu.
Oh, yeah. I thought you were just going to say camps. We haven't had that many camps tonight.
We haven't. Yeah. I was about to say for the first time in this series, but then I remembered that DIMAGA and Namshar had their cams on.
They had Mixu's kitchen on as well.
They did. As we are getting into our final best of two here, and yeah, you're talking about how Spirit has been kind of pulling a little bit back from those CC first openers, pulling back a little bit when it comes to his greed overall. Do you attribute that to anything?
I guess I don't know. I think the meta has gotten a little bit more unpredictable just in general in TVZ. Especially because of these low ground openings. I feel like Zergs have been mixing in a lot more different openings anyway. Things like that Eric opener where you're going for the Overlord, for the extractor trick into a faster hatch. There's a lot of sneaky openings like this where you can be sending lings across the map. We have just seen some slightly more aggressive stuff in general. I don't know. I feel like CC first 3CC as well, it leads you into the kind of game where you don't have that much momentum to start off with, and these maps are pretty rough if you don't get momentum going.
You bring up something interesting. So obviously we cast a little Korean StarCraft here. I don't get to see too much. I haven't seen too much of Spirit recently, as the first Reaper does make it across the map. And I'm pretty sure you watch a little bit more European StarCraft than I do. Have you seen Spirit go for the Beyond opener? Is that something that he's done?
I don't think we're ever going to see it, to be honest. He might be one of the only Terrans that is not going to do it, because I feel like I've seen just about everyone else do it.
Yeah, I've seen Clem do it, Hero Marine, all the Korean Terrans have done it.
Olivera.
Yeah, Olivera as well. Yeah, I think Spirit. I think you might be right. I think Spirit maybe, at least when it comes to the top tier, he may be the only one to stand against it. Say no. I'm willing to not go CC first, but 2 racks openers, that's too far. That's too far for Spirit.
Yeah, I think it's understandable. I've kind of always thought of this beyond 2 racks opener as more of a stylistic approach. It's clearly very strong, and it's strong enough that everyone's kind of giving it a go, but I feel like that's exactly it. They are just giving it a go more than necessarily saying that it's objectively better.
Yeah, exactly. I think I bring that up all the time whenever we see it from another player, is that these other players, they sprinkle it into a series, but they don't commit as hard as Beyond. Like, Beyond does it every game. But, like, everyone else, they're willing to, like, do it once or twice in the best of 5, you know? They don't heavily rely on it like Beyond does.
Yeah, it's kind of this weird thing where it's really strong for Beyond because he's capable of doing all the different openers that come out of it. I think if you don't have a very strong 3x Reaper, it doesn't make as much sense, but it's kind of become this funny thing where, like, the 4 racks build off the 2 racks is just so strong that you can just kind of do it anywhere.
Yeah, it's terrifying. You have to tell me. As we do have the Hellions.
It's a really good build.
As the Hellions, they dive into the natural base, and they're looking to try to roast up some of these workers. I believe 1 drone does go down, but we're able to split up just in time, and we minimize those losses. Ooh, that's 1 more drone goes down.
Yeah, that was pretty sharp from Mixu. Only 2 drones going down there, not bad at all. I think both players are going to be somewhat satisfied with that, as, yeah, it is just going to be a very standard opener coming out from Spirit. I believe he only made the 1... Yeah, okay, he only made the 1 Banshee. This is something that's also been quite popular lately. I've always really liked this. This is an old innovation build.
Yeah, it is going to be a 3cc Banshee opener, but as you were saying, only 1 Banshee, no cloak as well, so not the most committed opener. Of course, it can definitely help you, especially against a Roach build. It does apply a little bit of pressure across that, but it also means that you get into your later attack a little bit faster as well.
Yeah, you get tanks faster. So basically, what's normally a 1 tank move out with a 2nd tank rallying in behind becomes a 3 tank move out. So you have a much sturdier push. I think especially if you feel favored, it can be a very strong build to go for.
Yeah, and we'll see how that push does unfold in a couple of moments. Meanwhile, the Hellions going to be pressuring that 3rd base. Once again, Mixu does minimize his losses. He does pull back in time. He's able to react and make sure the Hellions don't get out of control. Blair is on the way at a pretty reasonable time. Bailing Nest was a little bit delayed, so as a result, we can't get into bailing speed immediately, but regardless, it should be on the horizon momentarily.
Yeah, that's right. That should be on the way as soon as you can. As that Bailing Nest finishes up, Spirit's just going to be very aggressive and active with these Hellions as Mixu. Setting up an interesting Ling run by. If he can time this right as the army moves out, this is going to be extremely annoying for Spirit.
Yeah, as the Hellions do reveal themselves, they pick off 3 drones, or I believe 2 drones, as 1 drone did go down to the Banshee. As that happens, Lings go in, but no, the reinforcements are staying back at home. The Lings do run into a wall of Marines and tanks.
Yeah, and these medevacs on the way pretty quickly. This is because you skipped the cloak and you skipped that 2nd Banshee as well. This is quite a lot faster of a push than 3cc Banshee normally has.
Yeah, and I'm really concerned. I mean, all the Lings are being cleaned up as well. Very nice micro out of Spirit. He does preserve every single one of his Hellions, just barely as well. And he's going to be working on his push. Bailing speed, by the way, was heavily delayed by Mixu, and that means it's not going to be ready for this.
Yeah, I mean, he does have a bit of a warning system built in here. His creep is actually really good, really fantastic. Despite the Hellions being so active from Spirit, he's done a good job with that. But as you were saying, to not have Bane speed in this situation makes things so much more complicated.
Yeah, we do have a surround though. Mixu is coming in from behind with those Lings. The Bailey's try to roll in as well. How good is the target firing? It looks like, oh, the Bailey's even find a connection.
Yeah, pretty good cleanup here for Mixu actually, as Spirit did have the Hellions in position, but they were also pretty heavily softened up. All in all, this is not bad at all for Mixu.
Yeah, I assumed more damage would be done, but the cleanup was real. The creep is going to be respread as well. Mixu, he's going to be stable here on his 4 bases. A 5th is on the way, and we are taking up into Hydras, into that infestation pit.
Yeah, there we go, 2-2 on the way. We can see that Mixu is reasonably behind in the upgrades, and he's actually uh, managed to get himself to 85 drones very comfortably, so he can just pump Ling Bane now.
Yeah, he has a really solid economy right now. As you were saying, he's behind in the upgrades, but when it comes to the economy in the army, he should be able to keep up with his opponents. The infestation bit is now done. He can work towards Hive as well. He's lacking a little bit when it comes to the gas, so he has to wait for those upgrades, but they should soon be on the way, as Spirit is still being very active though. That's a lot of tumors going down.
Yeah, Spirit just cleaning up some of this creep through the middle of the map, just keeping that under control, trying to keep that pressure on Mixu as well as he just starts to work towards his 2-2 without overcommitting.
Yeah, and we are able to force a cancel on the 6th base of Mixu. Alas, just being spread a little bit too far thin, but at least he does have the bottom left-hand base on the way. There's that hive we were speaking about as well. As Mixu does split up his army, he's going to try and keep up with these drops.
Yeah, but Spirit, he is up to the task. Mixu does have a few units split up towards the top here, but it's not enough. Those Lings are going to be going down.
Yeah, the Lings will be cleaned up. They trade with the Marines, but alas, the medevacs are here to support, and all these Overlords are exposed.
Yeah, Overlord's going to be going down. It looks like that will be supply blocking Mixu as he does send in the Lings to clean things up. And he's doing a good job here still. He's going towards Hive. He's got his 2-2 on the way. He's got Hydras on the way as well. So he's not been too distracted and disrupted by what Spirit's doing, but it feels like Spirit is just edging ahead.
Yeah, exactly. He's still trading more efficiently overall. He isn't, of course, dealing game-ending damage as you were getting at, but he's still doing well for himself. We still have drops being active as well, heading towards the bottom left-hand corner of the map as we speak. Mixu, it looks like he does have an army in the area, and hopefully he's able to react in time as the drop does go in.
Yeah, drop going to be heading towards the southern base. We do see quite a few drones being rallied in. Might be going down. A couple Baileys getting sniped out. Lovely stuff from Spirit there, and this is where things can start to snowball.
Oh, they really can. A medevac is going to be saved. The other does go down at the same time. Spirit coming in from his drop on the right-hand side, but Mixu was waiting for it.
Yeah, which medevac are the Marines in? And whichever one you kill, they're in the other one. My kill.
Smosh, papi. Feels bad, man. Feels bad. Never lucky. As Vipers are hit in the field, Mixu's done a great job at taking up into Hive. Again, having that really solid worker count. Like, he is also engulfing the map in creep as well. Mixu actually doing very well here against Spirit.
He is, but this is a really worrying moment. The tank count has grown for Spirit, and he is going to be starting this slow push with the tanks, and I don't believe Mixu has any Vipers.
He has 2 Vipers. They are gathering energy as we speak, and I don't think they're quite ready yet. So he needs a little bit more time for those Vipers to get ready for this.
Yeah, we lose a lot of Banelings to take down that one tank, but a huge run by coming in towards the left here.
Oh, and we do have a reaction coming out from Spirit. He's going to be able to preserve his worker count, preserve his SCVs at least, but we do force a lift off. We're going to be able to get the tank as well. Damage is being done. As you were saying, though, without those Vipers, can we hold on against the tank push? Do we have enough energy to work with as Mixu is still mustering up a defense?
Yeah, looks like we had a bank connection over here, actually, and Spirit's supply is dropping a little bit. He doesn't quite have the bank to replace it either. He's going to have to try to make something happen here, but there's enough Banelings, and this is actually looking pretty good for Mixu.
Really is, but he's being pulled apart a little bit. We have a drop on the left-hand side. We have a drop in the main base of Mixu as well. Damage is being done. We go for the blinding clouds. It looks like Mixu wants to clean up that main army, but I don't know if he can hold on to his main bases.
Yeah, Lings are trickling in into the main, and he's taking a pretty expensive trade at the same time. Not the best at timing to be doing that, but the Banelings come rolling in. And Spirit's going to have to pick up and get out of there. Things are still very close on the supply count.
Yeah, Mixu cleans up the main army of Spirit, but he's being harassed to death. He loses the mineral line. He's going to lose a hatchery as well. These drops are pulling him apart.
Yeah, they really are. 19 drones go down. Hatch goes down as well. Looks like these Marines going to be losing their lives fighting, but at the same time, Spirit, he is getting that +3. He's starting to secure his extra bases. We've seen him teching into Ghosts, so he'll have those ready if Lurkers ever start up, but otherwise just pretty comfortable for the moment. The creep through the middle might be becoming a problem.
Maybe. I mean, you just touched on something that's going to become a problem for Mixu as well. Is he hasn't started 3-3. I believe he does have Adrenal, but again, 3-3 hasn't started. He hasn't gone into Lurker upgrades either. He's staying on a lair tech composition, as once again, he's going to be laying siege upon this third base. He's going to force a lift off. He may even get a tank, but can he get much else?
Yeah, takes out the bunker, takes out the tank, but these still look like pretty efficient trades for Spirit, especially if he's watching over there. The Hydra's going to be running on in, but Ghosts have hit the field.
Yeah, the Ghosts have arrived, and they're going to be forcing Mixu back. We can see Mixu struggling to remax as well. He does catch a full medevac, which is nice, but we can even see him dropping a little bit in the worker count as well. Mixu still has to recover from all the drop play earlier.
Yeah, I mean, the pressure of Spirit's been very good. Mixu's done a fantastic job just keeping up in general, but I think Spirit is starting to run away with it now.
Yeah, he does have the momentum. He's been able to take it away from Mixu. Mixu did a great job at getting up to this point, but I don't know if he has much else here, as a lot of Lings, a lot of Hydras going down on the right-hand side. The base is being broken.
Yeah, Spirit just charging through with confidence. We see another run by here at the third, but the reactions are good. Only 2 SUVs going to be going down, and we do have plenty of units here to defend that run by. GG is called. Spirit takes the win, but man, Mixu is really hanging in there.
Yeah, GG, well played. I was very impressed by Mixu. Again, he was keeping up. He was going toe-to-toe with Spirit for the most part up until that big push, up until specifically the drop play. Mixu was able to handle the push quite well for himself. You know, he was able to throw down blinding clouds, clean up all the tanks, but he didn't quite have the attention or the army to split up and defend his main and his fringe bases, and things got out of control really quickly.
Yeah, they certainly did, and we are now on the last match for tonight, and this is where I start to wonder if we're going to be seeing something weird coming out from Spirit. I know he likes to cheese in TVP. I haven't really seen him do it too much in TVZ, but I have a weird feeling.
Oh, okay. I'm trying to search my memory banks here. I don't think I've seen Spirit go like proxy racks someone before in TVZ, but maybe.
I've seen him 2-racks before.
Okay. Fair enough.
I feel like 2-racks is actually a really good fit for this sort of player. Someone who's really standard or likes to do greedy macro. 2-racks actually pairs really well with greedy macro players. Just because that's kind of how you play out of it. It's a pretty similar game state.
I was gonna say that, mate. 2-racks openers, 2-racks proxies. It's the macro build. It's macro.
I do remember seeing Spirit cheese because he did proxy racks with 3cc behind it.
No, yeah, that rings a bell.
He got his natural on location and then just like got a third as well.
Yeah, I think we've casted that together. I think. Yeah. I do remember. Actually, you've brought forward a repressed memory that I wanted to forget.
It was a weird game. I was like, he's 100% dead because he got roach counter attacked and he just held it somehow.
He didn't die. Yeah, he just Oh god. So we'll see. We'll see if we get something spicy like that. Of course, the map from Mixu is going to be Altitude, largest map in the map. Will makes plenty of sense here from our Zerg player. And here we go in the bottom left-hand corner for Berserker Esports. It is Mixu.
And spawning here in the top right-hand corner of the map in the red, it is a Terran Spirit.
As the Rax is going to be thrown down back at home, unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you look at it. And as a result, no cheese, man.
Yeah, no cheese yet. Could still do Hellbat Marauder. I've seen him do it before. I saw him cheese in King of the Hill, actually. I tried to steal his Hellbat Marauder build, but it's very weird.
What's weird about it?
I think it was like... It's just like a very fast factory. I can't remember exactly what he did to get the factory out so fast, but he just does it. He does it a little bit different.
Mm-hmm. Fair enough. And if you want some of those different quirky Spirit builds, then consider subscribing to the channel. We do provide OSC King of the Hill replay packs alongside Kung Fu Cup replay packs, Grand Platypus Open, Sparkling Tuna Cup, Tenacious Turtle Tussle, all that good stuff. So if you're interested, you can check out those replays. As this is gonna be the final game of the night, the last one.
Where the KFC replays at? where they at, like?
You're like, yo, you want to do them KFC replays?
Yeah, I need my fix.
You have a problem, Asher. You have a problem.
I need my cure fix. As we just see Spirit's gonna be blocking the third this time around.
Yeah, the SCV is going to be able to block that. Third, the Reaper does rock up as well just to make things a little bit more awkward. And Mixu is going to be stuck on 2 aces for a little bit longer here.
Yeah. I love doing this when I'm better than a sec.
You're an animal.
Just hit the SCV out and see which way he tries to take the third. You
Yeah.
just block it.
Smooch. As the drone is being sent out, but no, it does get denied once again by that Reaper, and this is brutal. Again, just the delay is insane for Mixu. I mean, he's throwing down additional queens anyway, but yeah, this is a nice little wrench in the works here for Mixu.
Yeah. I like
You're
it.
an Adam. You're an Adam. Yeah, you know what? At least Spirit didn't kill the tumor. At least the tumor lived.
Yeah, but look how far back it is.
Well, that's the standard
light
tumor. What are you talking about? That's standard, Poppy. Where else are you gonna put it?
Tumor.
Yeah, you can't put it any more forward. It's gonna die. This is impossible.
Yeah. Okay, getting into the Mind of Spirit, I think we're going to be seeing a Viking Liberator opening coming out here. It does tend to be a little bit more popular on this map just because having the Viking to clear out vision can be very strong on this map because of all the dead space.
As the Reaper, it escapes as well. Gets one drone kill, slips on out, and there we have it. We do have actually a Liberator on the way for Spirit. Hellions as well. The aggression is soon to be upon us. The Reaper comes back in. He wants another drone.
Yeah, he's going so straight Liberator. This is something that Clem has been doing this quite a lot. Wouldn't be surprised if Spirit was inspired by that as well. It does just mean that you get a bit of a faster stim and you get a much faster double drop than you would normally. So usually with this, you're just going to be harassing a bit with the Liberator and then getting that double drop out on the map to clear creep ASAP and playing for a bit of a later game.
Yeah, again, a very active style coming out from Spirit. Of course, after the early game, it does seem like he wants to be a little bit more active, a little bit more spicy here against his opponent. Mixu, of course, is finally able to get his third base up and running, going to be able to saturate as well. Spirit was doing a great job at just scouting with his Reaper, just making sure that he didn't force a roach hole in or anything like that, which can happen, especially if the Zerg player is contained to 2 bases a little bit too long.
Yeah, you have to bully them, but not so much that they fight back.
you gotta bully them, but you have to be careful because he may have a gun in his backpack. You know, you gotta
be chill. Yeah. you gotta say, just kidding.
It's just
we don't have spores at all.
Yeah, no spores. It's going to take quite some time for the Queen to shut down this Liberator. One drone already goes down at the same time. Hellions are looking to dive on in. The Queen's right of position.
Yeah, they are, and there's just not that many lings at all. This is why it's really good to mix in Hellion dives like this because they just sometimes there's a little bit of a mini game where the Zerg is gambling that you're not going to be committing to anything like this. The Queen blocks a pass, but not enough, and here we go. The prize is here. The drones are lining up.
Feels bad, man. The Queen just was not thick enough, did not wall up that ramp, and 22 and counting drones are going down. The mineral line is just annihilated.
I think that was an 11 drone volley right there. As, things are suddenly looking extremely rough for Mixu. He has to go for a counterattack now, and if he can't get any damage with this, the game is pretty much over.
Yeah, the barbecue was real. As you were saying, Mixu is pretty committed with this. He needs to do some kind of counter damage. He's going to get an SCV, going to get a depot, which is nice, but he's looking for even more as Spirit has a massive lead.
Yeah, really big economic lead. You do not want to be anywhere near level, let alone behind against the Terran in this matchup.
Yeah, Ling run by gets cleaned up as well. Only does damage to a tank, only does damage to a depot as well. Behind this, we have our Bailey Nest on the way, +1 carapace. Mixu's just trying to macro out of this as best he can, but he is going to be playing from behind.
Yeah, that's right. And these medevacs, they are already finished because we did go for that Liberator opener. So Spirit going to be able to put this pressure on very early here. And Mixu is going to be really struggling to find the resources to defend here.
Yeah, exactly. And we'll see if he can somehow muster up a defense. We have 10 drones in production, so Mixu was in the midst of droning. He does have a little bit of Lingbane, but the army rocks up. GG gets called, and Spirit takes the 2-0 over Mixu.
GG. Very clean games coming out there. We have the typical Spirit celebration now.
Yeah, the classic look at, not even the camera, just look at the monitor, look at zoom, turn off the camera, GG. That's very ecstatic here about his win as PSISTORM Gaming do take the series 6-0. So a very dominant performance here from PSISTORM Gaming. A very good way to end off the series. Sorry, end off the round robin round for them. But unfortunately, that is the last we're going to be seeing of them here in WTL.
Yeah, that is the last we'll see of either team there, but a bit of a feather in the cap for PSISTORM at the end there. And that wraps things up for tonight. We can see tomorrow we're going to have some fantastic games. Platinum Heroes and Shopify, that's going to be a fantastic game. They're very close on the table towards the end, so I think that will have ramifications for where each team finishes. And Liquid versus Abydos as well, going to be a banger.
Oh yeah, we have some very solid matchups coming up tomorrow. So if you enjoyed the broadcast, if you enjoyed WTL, then make sure you tune in tomorrow and the day after. WTL is 3 days in a row, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, back to back to back. 3 days of StarCraft action, and we're going to be covering it here on the CranKy Ducklings.
Yeah, that's right. So don't miss any of that. Very exciting week end of games is coming up.
Yeah, there you go. And likewise, our next broadcast is going to be before that. In less than 24 hours, we're going to be live with the Africa TV Champions Cup qualifiers, the Korean qualifier number 2. So if you want some Korean StarCraft action, then we have you covered. As I quickly just double checked the calendar, and that is going to be in 14 hours. Unfortunately, we're not going to be live on Twitch. I kind of said it in the title of the tournament. It's the Africa TV Champions Cup. Has to be broadcasted on Africa, not on Twitch, not on YouTube. So we do have an Africa channel. If you're interested, if you're going to be awake at the time, if you are interested in some Korean StarCraft, then we got you covered over on Africa.
Yeah, there we go. Always plenty of StarCraft going on at the CranKy Ducklings, so make sure that if you haven't given us a follow, give us a follow there. And yeah, how about your stream, lad? Are you going to have any time to do a personal stream?
I've been trying. I had one ladder session. I had a ladder session leading up to Kung Fu Cup. I had a stream, and by the time Kung Fu Cup started, I was so dead. That's actually the reason why I drank coffee the other day. I told you that.
Okay,
yeah, because I was
get rid of the smudge.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't a bad ladder session. I actually won most of my games, but like it was so draining, like energy wise. Like I was just so out of it. So I'm trying to stream whenever I can. Over on light_VIP, you can tune into some of my ladder streams. I'm trying to bounce back and reclaim some of my long lost glory of my MMR. Oh, smudge.
Fair enough.
But if people want to tune into some more AsherBro, where can they find you, Buffy? Where can they find you?
They can pray to whatever god they believe in, but it's probably not going to happen anytime soon.
Smudge, Pappy Smudge. AsherBro on Twitch if you want to follow our lovely duckling here, our lovely catboy, as he does stream whenever he can. Just once a month, maybe once every 2 months. Oh, maybe.
Maybe.
Oh god. But again, if you are interested in the CranKy Ducklings, follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Discord. We are the CranKy Ducklings all over the place. Even on Africa as well, if you want to tune into the Champions Cup. Otherwise, thank you so much to Pig. Pig gave us a massive raid earlier, and we do appreciate the support. I'm sure many people are tuning in for the first time. We are live every day, sometimes multiple times a day here on the CranKy Ducklings with plenty of StarCraft.
Yeah, that's right. So thanks so much, everyone, for joining us. Really great night of games. And yeah, I got nothing else. I want you to eat your pie.
Oh, my pie. That's right. Do you want to watch me? Do you want
to? No.
Thanks everyone for watching. Thanks so much for the support. We'll see you guys tomorrow for Africa Champions Cup and for day 2 of World Team League. Until then, bid you adieu. Bye.
Ciao, ciao.